What's up everybody, Dragast here, giving you something a little different on the channel today. This is kind of an information session for the game you are staring at right now, which is the trailer for ARK Survival Evolved. This is a survival game coming out June 2nd for early access on Steam. Now, supposedly tomorrow, which is the May the 22nd, alpha is supposed to be out, and I'm said to have access to it, but I haven't got an email yet, so I don't know. I'm praying I have access to it tomorrow, because if there was a definition of hype for any game, for myself personally, this would be it. I am so excited for this game, and this part right here blew me away. Like, holy crap, I didn't even know it was a dinosaur game until I saw that. And when I saw that beautiful animation of that T-Rex breaking down that player-made structure, I was like, this is Jurassic Park mixed with Rust. And that's essentially what it is. Now we are marooned on the island. As you can see, this is probably the starting animation when you do create a character. You kind of just stand up here and then, oh, look, a beautiful island we can go explore. Oh, hey, a big dinosaur. You get the idea. This looks like a phenomenal game, and you can see more and more as we get into further into this video. But yeah, in this video, I just wanted to go over some information I've been finding regarding the game. I've been scouring the internet, reading developer interviews and everything, and trying to get as much information as I can for this game so we can learn about it before it's released, because I can't play it, unfortunately, so I may as well just learn about it. You can see there is cave exploring as well, and you saw that map and compass. Oh my god, that's so exciting to me. There's going to be basically no UI in this game, so you got to use map and compass, GPS coordinates, things like that. Nothing is on your screen. You see the world, and that's it, just like as you were surviving in a prehistoric era. Now, a lot of people seem to think that this game is just dinosaurs. You guys kind of missed a few things during this trailer if you think that. There's huge scorpions, there's huge snakes, there's a fucking dragon at the end of it, which I kind of ruined the ending, but whatever, you'll see it anyways. A lot of different creatures, so it is fantasy mixed with prehistoric, mixed with, as you can see, crafting and creation. Another thing, if you look there, you can actually see farming. A lot of people didn't notice that. I did. I'll put a screenshot right here. Just a lot of different stuff that I am really excited about, and we're going to quickly overview after this trailer. So I'll shut up and let you guys enjoy the rest of this trailer, and then we'll get into some information regarding the game. So I just want to focus here as well. You see the lava. There is a volcano in the world that is confirmed. So there's going to be like some sort of cave exploration with lava involved. That's really intriguing to me. There's just so much to this game, and when I get to more of the information at the end of this, you'll quickly see what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was the trailer of it. If you didn't see that before, now you've seen it. I hope you're as hyped as I am, because it's going to be a staple of my channel for weeks to come at least. But yeah, let's get more into information regarding the game now. So before I get into this information, I just want to say all of this was gathered via me from developer interviews as well as the ARK Digest, which they have been doing on their Steam page. So this is all from the developers themselves. I didn't, speculate any of this. I want real information from the developers' mouths. So everything I jotted down really quickly here, it's going to be scatterbrained and kind of everywhere. I just jotted down point form, and I'm just going to talk about it really quickly and do my best to explain to you what I think about it all and what I think is going to be the future of this game. I'm just so excited for it, and I want to do a video on it before the game's even out, and I never do that, so this is kind of new to me. So first of all, the biggest thing I find for this game is it's going to have mod support on day one. That is, when early access is released, mod support is going to be implemented. That means you're going to have different game modes. I'm excited to see something like Battle Royale in this game with freaking dinosaurs in the way and everything. Sounds so exciting. You're going to have, different weapons that can be created via mods, I'm sure. I don't know. This is speculation on my part, but mod support is confirmed. How complex that is, we do not know. Now, a common question is the map size. It is actually quite huge. The map size is 48 square kilometers, but that's not accounting for the caves, dungeons, underwater areas, and flying areas. As you saw in the video, there was loads of dungeons, there was loads of places where you could fly. There was like that little thing in the sky that was floating. That is not accounted for in the 48 square kilometers. That's just the map size, you know, the terrain size. Then you got all the dungeons and everything, and holy crap, that is a huge space. Now, that being said, obviously, if there is a map size, you know it's not procedurally generated, which I think is a good thing, because then you can know that the developers molded that map to be beautiful. The problem with procedural generation is, yes, it adds to replayability, but it takes away from the developer's creativeness. You know, you can't create huge, beautiful mountains and landscapes with procedural generation unless you have a really good system in place. With this now, you still have a huge map, and you still have a lot to explore, but you know that each area is going to be unique and beautiful. Now, this is a survival game, and I haven't seen much of this in any other survival games. There's been a few games that have tried to do it, but didn't really implement it very well. There's going to be character progression. There's going to be a level up system as well as a skill tree for your characters. I don't know too much about it. The developers didn't go into too much talks regarding it, and I didn't jot down much notes regarding it, but there is going to be character progression, and there is not going to be permadeath. You do lose your items when you die, but you do not lose, from what I understand anyways, your stats and your progression. There is a blueprint system for crafting, so you are going to have to get blueprints and collect them and then train yourself, similar to something like Rust. And from what I understand, when you die, you do not lose those. You just lose your gear, your weapons, and your, obviously, clothing and whatnot. Now, as you saw in the video, I'm sure you guys already know this, there is a huge focus on dinosaurs. Not only are you hunting them, you can tame them, you can train them, you can ride them, you can use them as pack mules. If you have a really heavy load of something, you can put it on a certain dinosaur's back. Each dinosaur has its own unique abilities. If you want to go and into combat, for example, you're going to want to use something like a raptor or a T-Rex. If you want to carry something, you're going to want to use something that's really large. You get the idea. Each dinosaur is going to have its own uses, and you can tame them as well as ride them around, which, I mean, how cool is that? I saw a pterodactyl do a fucking barrel roll in the trailer. That is amazing. Going back to the world and the atmosphere, there is proximity-based VoIP. If you played a few survival games, you know what this is. Basically, you hear from each character. So if you're far away from a character, you're not going to hear them as they are close to you. The closer you are to the character, the more clear they become. If you become too far, you do not hear people on VoIP at all. So that I love in games, because it just adds to the atmosphere. It actually feels like you're in it, and you actually need to talk to people and be close to them to strategize. There's also going to be an active weather system. There's going to be like storms coming in, I'm assuming. I don't know how complex it gets. I know he said there was going to be no snow for release. I don't know any about the future of that. It'd be cool if there was like actual storms, like tornadoes and everything. I have no idea though. I just know there's going to be a weather system. You know, sunshine, foggy, stormy, things like that. And also your character reacts to the weather. So maybe if it's a really hot day, he'll get overheated. Maybe if it's really cold, he'll need to go inside, or he'll get hypothermia or something like that. The developer mentioned that there is going to be some sort of system that reacts to weather via the characters. Also, something that's really exciting, they are focusing a lot on anti-cheat. They have their own very, as they stated anyways, complex anti-cheat system in place. And if you know anything about survival games, cheaters can really ruin a game really quickly, because it's so hard to gather all these items and get all this gear, and then when some cheater comes and aimbots you, you know, you kind of get annoyed and stop playing the game. Anti-cheat needs to be good in survival games, and they seem to have a huge focus on it right at the start, which is extremely exciting, and hopefully the anti-cheat system will be strong enough to keep these cheaters out of here. As for the price of the game, it's going to be $24.99 for the early access version, and as like most early access, as they start progressing the game, becoming more and more complex, they up the price a little bit. So right off the bat, it's going to be $24.99. Also, no microtransactions, one-time fee, and that is all you pay. They did mention something about expansions in the future, but that is an expansion. That is not, you know, DLC for a certain gun or something. They're talking about world expansions from what I understand. Also, something I'm personally really excited for is first person only. There's nothing more annoying than people walling behind a wall in a survival game trying to get a peek at you without actually being seen. So this game only has first person, unless you're mounted on a dinosaur. Then you can go into third person, it's optional, but you can also use first person there as well. Really excited for that because I think a survival game should only be first person. That's the way they're meant to be played. Having third person just doesn't feel right to me, and I'm excited to see how the competitiveness of the game reacts to having only first person. Because something like DayZ is competitive, but you also got third person things that can really make you benefit from just that extra view. We don't have that here, so it should be exciting to see how that reacts to, you know, for example, PvP combat. They also mentioned they have almost no UI in the game. I know I went over this during the actual trailer of the game. There's really no UI in the game, so you kind of gotta, you know, either upgrade your gun. There is attachments to guns and everything, so you can get a red dot sight, for example, and aim down sight. But when you start off with a bow and everything, you just kind of gotta get used to where the arrow goes and shoot there. I really like that. Having no UI is always really fun. That means no map. You gotta find a map, open it up, look at it, or upgrade to something like a GPS, and there's just nothing on the screen but what you're seeing. So there is an upgrade tier system in the game. I didn't get much information on this, but it sounds extremely intriguing. Basically, you can start off with a basic item, and then through crafting and upgrading, you can get better items. Like, for example, you start off with a basic map, and then you can get something like a GPS system that you can just glance at, and it's obviously a lot more in-depth than looking at a paper map in the game. I don't know much more than that about the upgrading system, but it sounds really interesting. The game also has a huge crafting focus, so everything in the game is going to be crafted. You aren't going to find, you know, guns on the map like DayZ. You need to find blueprints or make blueprints and create those guns with your workstations. Something like Rustwood, you have to upgrade your stations as well, like Reign of Kings, for example. When you upgraded your stations, you can make better buildings, you can make better weapons. Same thing is going to be happening here. You upgrade your stations, therefore you get better materials and better guns as well. There's also going to be, as I stated before, attachments for weapons, so you're going to have like things like red dot silencers, also flashlights. There's a lot of dungeons in this game and caves, so you are going to want to have a light source with you at all times. The game will also have lore and a story. They didn't go into much regarding it. The gems in the logo, obviously, and in the player's wrist when you start the game, kind of points towards that lore system that's in place. We don't really know what those gems are yet. I'm going to, you know, just guess here and say it's either factions or some sort of spell system. There was 3 gems, I forget the colors, I think blue, red, and green. And I saw one glowing as the guy was shooting red, so maybe it has to do with the health system, or it could be factions as well. Now, the developer also confirmed there is in fact boss creatures. The dragon at the end of the trailer was a boss creature. These are creatures that you have to team up with to kill. Obviously, it's a dragon that's 10 times larger than freaking dinosaurs. Of course, you're going to need to team up to kill it, and I'm going to assume it either drops extremely rare resources or gives you something. Hell, there might even be raiding in this game. We don't know yet. There's a lot of speculation regarding the boss creatures. It looks freaking phenomenal, though. They also mentioned something like automated defenses. You can get turrets for your base and everything that automatically shoot people, so you know, you don't have the rust issue where you go offline and then someone blows up your wall and it gets in right away. You can at least make defenses, so if you're not online, they can blow you up. There's also an electricity system. I don't know how complex the electricity system is. I know that you use generators to produce power, but do you have to make power lines? Do you have to do things like that? We don't really know, and how complex the electricity system is, we don't know as well. He did mention something about fridges in the game, so if you want to make food last longer, you put it in the fridge, meat for example, and it will not rot, from what I understand. In terms of server size, they want 100 players on the PC servers. I have no idea regarding PS4 or Xbone, but they state that's a goal that's not confirmed yet, so they really gotta, you know, stress the servers and see how much they can load onto it when it's released. So it might be a buggy first couple weeks in the game. We don't know yet, but that's their goal. 100 players on the server size of 42 kilometers squared. Speaking of servers, if you do prefer single player like myself, there is a single player mode and a multiplayer mode. So If you saw a lot in the trailer, there was people all around all the time, so there is going to be a big emphasis on working together when you are playing the multiplayer. When you're playing the single player, from what I understand, the creatures are dulled down a bit, so you can obviously compete with them, and the difficulty will be changed as well. But there is a single player mode and a multiplayer mode for you people who like to, you know, troll each other. Farming is confirmed, as I stated before. We actually saw it in the video. You saw a little harvest patch on the side of his house. It is implemented, so you are going to be able to create your own food, as well as, I'm assuming, get your own meat from dinosaurs and little dodos. I think those were dodos in the trailer. I'm not certain, but that looked like a damn dodo. So we go from dinosaurs to dodos. That's pretty interesting. And yeah, you can grow your own grain and crops and hunt your own meat. Unfortunately, there is a stamina system. I hate stamina systems personally, but if you run too much, your guy runs out of breath and probably slows down, or you have to sit down and relax, and then you can start running again. So, I mean, it adds a bit of strategy to the game, but it's more of an annoyance than anything, especially when you're working with big maps like this one's going to be. Inventory is not item-based, it's weight-based, so if you have heavy items like, I'm assuming, stone or iron or metals in your inventory, you're going to be able to hold a lot less. That's where you get to the dinosaurs that can haul things for you. And yeah, it's just a weight-based system instead of an item-based system. Your character will be always in the game, similar to Reign of Kings and Rust, where when you log out, your character falls asleep on the ground and you can still be killed and looted. That's just to combat people who log out when they get in fights and they realize they're going to lose. It's a good idea, but it is annoying as well because you never feel safe. You have to really up your defenses if you do want to survive. If you were a fan of the slaves in Reign of Kings, things like hanging, tying up people and dragging them around, they stated it's going to be happen in this game as well. You can, you know, put people in cages, you can tie them up, you can make them your prisoners, things like that. I'm a huge fan of that because there's nothing more fun than trolling people and roping them up and putting them in the water and crap. I'm really excited for that, and I want to see how complex it is. Now, the one thing I don't like about this game is it's not a 60 FPS game. It's the 30 FPS is their target. They basically said the highest tiered systems will have a goal of 30 FPS. 60 FPS will be basically impossible with how complex the game is. I don't even know if they will allow 60 FPS even if you have a beast PC. I might be capped at 30. I have no idea. This is a console game as well, so we also have the issue, is it a port over? That's a huge concern of mine, but they did say PC is going to be more higher detail. It's just going to look more better because, well, obviously PCs can handle a lot more. So that's good, but is it a console port? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. So that's really just a basic overview of the game so far, guys. I did scour the internet for as much information as I could find from the developers themselves, and that was what I found. I hope you guys are as hyped for this game as I am, because it will be on my channel. I can guarantee you that when I am granted access to it. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Hey, this is just a quick message thanking you for watching my video. I hope it gave you literally minutes of enjoyment. If you want to see more, I've added playlists and videos like this one at the top right of your screen. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or directly support me, all my social media and Patreon links are in the description of this video. Thanks for watching and liking. I'll see you in the next one.